Everyone died. Everyone loved. Everyone cried. Round the world for all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? It's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright. Is it a time when to stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. With one earth, with one need, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world for all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright. Isn't it time, brother, stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. With one hurts, with one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace. Alright, make peace, peace together. Peace.
Hi guys, thank you for joining us on Shadow Chasing Radio. I'm your host, Derrick Whiteskycloud, and yes, tonight we are talking paranormal. We actually have a good friend of ours. We actually had another return, I guess, third, fourth time.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. We've had Bill Hauser here every month. we're trying to get him here as much as possible. I'm not going to stalk the guy because that's the way it works. But anyways, he's out there busy doing his ghost box, and he's traveling all over the country with it. And so Bill and I actually wanted to do a show again, bring this in, talking about ghost boxes, because I've been around it for a long time. And what I wanted to do this time was to not just have people phoning in and make contact with their loved ones as well, but also what I wanted to do, because on February the 19th, those you Americans out there, big shout out to you all. Thank you guys for joining us on Facebook as well as YouTube. And it's also going into Rumble after it's recorded. So it'll be, shared around everywhere, right? But big shout out to all the Americans out there that you guys are celebrating on the 19th of February of 2024. You celebrated President's Day. I know you weren't too happy about celebrating because of Mr. Biden. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting because years ago, I had another friend of mine that we did a ghost box before, I would say about maybe 10 years ago, when I was with another radio station. And we did a dead president's ghost box contact. And now that was pretty cool. We had fun doing it. And it's been a long time. And I thought, you know what, maybe I even surprised Bill because I made up a second banner for the Facebook page. Bill's going, oh, okay. Let's do it. So tonight we're going to be doing our first hour. We're going to actually see if we can make contact with the presidents, the late presidents that have crossed over. I'm not talking about the most recent ones as of now. I want to talk to, let's put it this way. Basically, if you folks may not know, but way back when, there was actually, let's just say, let's talk about the White House, for example. Okay. Now, I'm a Canadian, but there have been apparently someone did a column here called the 10 White House ghost stories that will send a chill down your spine. And there were reports of the White House staff have reported seeing a ghost of a first lady, Abigail Adams, hanging laundry to dry in the East Room. And the staff have also reported smelling wet clothes and lavender laundry soap. In addition to the ghost sightings, according to the White House Historical Association. Now, the interesting part was the most common White House ghost that has been seen a lot in the White House for many years since it started was President Abraham Lincoln. And he was known simply as the White House ghost, with frequent sightings over the years. Now, the First Lady, Grace Coolidge, Lady Bird Johnson, and Jacqueline Kennedy, and Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, and also said that they encountered the ghost of Abraham Lincoln or felt his presence in the White House. The First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt also reported feeling Lincoln's presence as she worked in her office in the Lincoln bedroom, as if he were peering over her shoulder. And the President Franklin D. Roosevelt's valet once ran screaming from the White House after seeing Lincoln's ghost. And Dennis William Hawk, he actually did a story called Haunted Places National Directory. The interesting part that I found interesting was that most people may not know, but Abraham Lincoln's wife, and both Abraham Lincoln and his wife were very, very strong in the spiritual field. And like Bill said earlier, they were spiritualists, which actually they believed in talking to spirits, making contact. Now, this has been going on for eons, for years. But the First Lady, Mary Todd Lincoln, she used to hold seances in the Red Room of the White House, and is said to have she actually communicated with President Andrew Jackson's ghost. So that tells you that there have been many different varieties of ghosts that have existed in the White House besides just Lincoln himself. Now, there's also been reports, sightings of the ghost of Abraham Lincoln's son, Willie, who died when he was only 12 years old. Now, if I remember correctly, I think he died of a consumption of some sort. It was an illness going around at the time. Typhoid fever is what it was in 1862. Now, in the 1870s, the staff of the Ulysses S. Grant said that they saw his ghost also in the White House. For some reason, as soon as you become president, your ghost is in the White House. They can't haunt their own personal house. They always have to haunt the White House. They're always white guys that are actually in the house. So Jackson was reportedly being spotted laying in his old bed and heard laughing. Now, the another president, William Henry Harrison, who was actually the first president to die in the White House, was said to be seen in the attic, and he haunted the attic in the White House, which is now the third floor. So that has changed through the years. Harrison was also the president of just 31 days before his death in 1841. His ghost is said to have been heard moving around the attic of the White House. In 1927, the attic was renovated and turned into an expansion of the executive residence. Also, the go next is actually President Harry Truman reported several instances of paranormal activity during his time in the White House. In 1945, Truman wrote to his wife, Bess, and about his life in the White House during the first 2 months of his term. Pardon me. And he says, I sit here in this old house and work on foreign affairs, reading reports, and work on speeches, and all the while listening to the ghost walk up and down the hallway, even right in here in the study. He wrote, the floors will pop and the drapes will move back and forth, and I can just imagine old Andy Jackson and Teddy Roosevelt having an argument over Franklin Roosevelt. In 1946, he wrote Bess another letter after he heard a knock on his bedroom door, but no one was there, right? And he says, I jumped up upon my bedrobe and opened the door and no one was there. And he wrote, and he said, went out, looked up and down the hall and looked in the room and Margie's, still no one. So went back to the bed after locking the doors, and there was footsteps in the room, whose door I'd left open. Now he says he jumped and looked and no one was out there. The damned watchman was up here at that hour. He says, you and Margie had better come back and protect me before some of these old ghosts carry me off. So sometimes, you got to think about one thing too, folks. There was no television in some of these places. If you go a little bit further back in years, there was no TV, there's no radio. So, you would take a chance of recognizing the fact that when anybody passed away in a building, no matter what it is, if you're very important, if you really belovedly loved your job greatly, that sometimes people will haunt the location and they don't like to leave. They want to stay there, right? So same thing when President Ronald Reagan's dog Rex began barking at the doorway of the Lincoln bedroom, and he suspected a ghostly visitor, right? In 1986 state dinner, Reagan told guests that Rex had barked at the entrance to the Lincoln bedroom and refused to go inside. And Reagan's daughter and son-in-law also reported seeing the ghost figures in the bedroom, right? President George W. Bush's daughters, Jenna and Barbara, also heard opera singing in the 1920s, piano music coming out of the fireplace in their bedroom, out of the fireplace. That was a hot song.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was the devil's thing in the song, that one, the fireplace. He knew that if anything was haunted or any place was haunted, it was this house. But we tried to rationalize it. Jenna wrote in her 2017 memoir with Barbara Sisters First, when White House butler Buddy Carter asked the girls how they slept, and they told him about the mysterious singing and music that they heard. And oh, Miss Jenna, I believe you. You wouldn't believe what I have seen and heard over the years, and Buddy hasn't yet told me his ghost stories. And I keep hoping that she wrote. Here's one thing I find interesting, folks. And it goes all the way down to every president, I'm sure, right down to the presidents today. But what I find interesting is that, you know, I'm surprised. Now, if there were any ghost boxes that did exist, or even a tape recorder, say during Eisenhower's time, I'm sure there were tape recorders, reel to reels, but no one really attempted to actually record or try to stay around and see if they record. And if they did record anything, how come we haven't heard about that? It's mostly written, witnessed, but never recorded on audio. I mean, I have not come across one. If you guys did ever come across one, let us know. Love to hear that from you guys, right? So what I wanted to do tonight, like, and then people were asking also the same questions as well. Are spirits allowed to tell us about important future events like 2024 elections? Well, I listened to 3 people today who are paranormal investigators who have ghost boxes and watched their videos, and every one of them had said, every time they were asking the same question, even the people in spirit will not tell you the future of the 2024 election. They won't tell you.
Very interesting.
Why? Because they're supposed to keep it a secret, or are we not to know, or do we have to wait and find out for ourselves? Makes sense, right? So that's why things tend to happen strangely for many of us. So that's why that's why I've been trying so hard to get as much out to the world regarding paranormal activity. I've been working with a lot of people through the years, paranormal investigating when I was doing all over Vancouver, between Vancouver, Cloverdale, outside, pretty well across British Columbia, and a few places in Alberta, Saskatchewan when I was there. But I've noticed also there are way more paranormal teams that have actually decided to get more involved. I remember when TV was so active with paranormal. I mean, they still have it. They got a paranormal station, one specific paranormal station, constantly 24/7. I mean, it's getting to be crazy.
Yeah.
All over the world, as everybody's doing paranormal investigating, it has become such a, I don't know, more like a fad. And I know my thinking is, yeah, I know everybody wants to investigate if there's actually spirits or ghosts. And once in a while, what we have to do, folks, is take it, I guess, be very careful, because not everybody is truthful about what they find. Because it's been known by some paranormal teams will throw rocks and stones and say, who's there? So they're trying to get attention, right? But tonight, you know, like I said, I've known Bill for a long time, and Bill is trying very, very hard to let you know. And this, we're going to explain if you want to explain to our viewers and listeners, you brought in something here new, but also if you want to let them know what you're using and what's the difference between what you started with and what you've got now.
Well, when I first started, I was using hacked radios, and I hacked my very first radio back in 2010. And then I got another radio and hacked that one. And then I got the PSB-7 in 2011. And then I started doing talk radio back at that time on an American network. And so I kind of got my foot in the door in doing talk radio. And then I just kept doing all that. And then I just got more and more ghost boxes. And then finally, you know, boxes that actually really... I mean, the ones I had at the beginning worked well, but these other ones worked even better. And so that's what I've done. I've used these different radios through the years, and variable sweep rates, as they call them, work well. That's very handy. So,
which ghost box do you think is? I mean, you've been through you've used different varieties of them, of different kind of ghost boxes. Which one do you find that it's actually?
Well, I find this one here, the Codeless 89 works very well, and then I have the Codeless 25,
Okay.
He made them in a series of different radios, and he used the circuitry from Frank's Sumption and just improved on it, and used new parts and everything. So we built it up from the board up, as they say, circuit board. And these ones work very well. The variable sweep rate, so I can adjust the speed on it. So you want to get it just at a happy rate of speed, and then the sound to go with it. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a good radio overall. And
do you recommend anyone that wants to learn to become a paranormal investigator and they want to learn how to use these boxes? Do you think it's worth it for them to do it, or would you prefer them to learn how to use their own, say, a cassette machine? If you know what a cassette machine is.
Yeah, the old cassette. Well, I mean, now it's a lot of digital recorders, and then using your phone recorders on your smartphone. But the thing is understanding the paranormal to begin with, and going out there and protection. That's one of the key things I've always told newcomers is to do protection. That's very important. You know, however you do it, it's your own way, but, you know, compass the white light, whatever. Tend not to get into a lot of crystals on a haunted site, especially with newcomers, because that might actually increase the activity of the ghosts. And if they're not ready for it, it's going to be hard for them to understand. So
if anybody brings a crystal with them and put it next to the machine, do you think it's going to increase it?
Well, what I mean is crystals in general amplify your thoughts, okay, like quartz crystal, and they could also amplify spirits' thoughts or their intentions. So
okay, in a good way or a negative way?
It depends. I think it depends on the individual when they go there, how you interact on a haunted location.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different when you're at home, I guess.
Yeah,
but when you're out in a haunted location, you don't know how those spirits are going to react to you. So that's where the protection, I find, is very important for the newcomers.
Right. I know, because a lot of people want to carry all kinds of varieties of protection.
Yeah.
And well, let's put it this way: when you decide to wear something that has a great amount of protection, then why do you ghost hunt? But also too, I think because if your intention is good, and like I tell people, when you do a prayer before you go in to protect yourself, just basically ask for guiding white light to cover you, then you're pretty well taken care of. But when you start carrying a whole bunch of other things on top of that, and like I remember, and I will say this, Mike used to carry a whole bunch of stuff on himself. Then he wonders why there's not hardly any ghosts come getting close to him. I said, well, gee, I wonder why, Mike. How many things you're carrying with you on in your shirt, pants, you name it. So I don't know what he did after that, whether he decided to take some of the stuff, put it aside. But I think because the results were on his part was he used to end up bringing them home with him. Anytime he's ever done an investigation, they come home with him to his house. Next thing you know, his house is haunted. So whenever location that he was at, he emptied it, but it came home with him. So
I've seen that.
He was always a victim in that all the time.
I've seen that with other people, and they just, I hardly ever have that problem. I mean, I've stayed, where I protect myself, and I kind of paid my dues back in the earlier days, well over 25 years ago, where in Victoria, I've mentioned this quite a few times, at Ross Bay Cemetery. I went in there with a paranormal group. I was invited to go over there, and I started getting all kinds of the energy sucked out of me. I was white as a ghost. I was like my energy, my life force energy was kind of sucked out of me a little bit.
Yeah.
And so after that, the medium on the group suggested that you should do protection. And I said, no, I hadn't done that. So she said, well, that's probably why you feel the way you are. About 3-4 days after, I felt like I had the flu. And so
that's,
hard.
Look at some of the guys, actually, they're out there, and before you know it, they're running away and they're throwing up.
Yeah. I've seen that, or getting smacked on the side of the head or whatever.
Pushed downstairs.
Scratched or hit in some form, bruised.
I've been very fortunate myself. I've never been scratched. I've, like myself, being a medium, but then again, I've always told this people in spirit to respect what I'm doing, and I'm here not to harm them.
Yeah.
My job is to make contact and to see what we can do for them. Like, we're not there to rescue this is where the mistake people make. You're not rescue psychics. You're not rescue paranormal team. You're there specifically to make contact to see why you're still there. And if you are there, or that person or persons, what do they want to do? Do they want to stay there, or are they because they don't know what to do from there on? Because if you look at it, folks, there have been people believing, in the old times, they didn't understand light. All they knew is if you passed away, you just cross when you pass away, and then they just pretty well cross your arms, put you in a coffin, and you're buried, and that's it. But again, there are people out there that work very, very hard for a living they've made, and they work very hard for the world or the community or for families or whatever have you. Sometimes they will not want to leave, because will hear sometimes loved ones will say, don't leave me, don't leave me. The ones that are saying to you before you're passing away. So what happens is they create a bond of staying. They don't want to leave the premises, so they haunt the place. Hauntings do not mean that it's evil. Hauntings mean that their residual energy of themselves, because they love their job or love being with their family or whomever they're connected with, chose to be there. And that's how it works. Now, the people say, well, will they ever get to the light? Yes, they can. And sometimes it takes people like us to help them through. But then again, sometimes they don't want the help. I've seen it happen before, because there's times where people will be pushed downstairs,
Yep.
or you'll hear even through the box, they'll say, go away, leave. I don't want you here. I hate you, whatever. That spirit in that room or that building has no idea who we are. We just come in there to see, and they think that we're invading their space, because they still think that they own the building. Okay? They still think that they're living there. They don't know that time has passed. So that's why people, and the first thing someone will say who actually doesn't believe in this, first thing they'll say, oh, well, these are evil. No, nothing is evil unless you make it that way. And I've been around it for a long time, and anything that you want to label as evil, that is your decision. But most of the time, there are really great people that try so hard to help them move on, and or just to communicate, and they just love to communicate with you. So the thing is that now, I'm saying all these things because sometimes you're going to get a lot of residual energy that people have been there for a lot of years. Like I said before, it's why I talked about introducing you to the history of the White House, where they've had 10 plus hauntings of other individuals that had lived in there. And sometimes people were even servants. They weren't even telling you about anybody who's actually to live there, is employed there. They're just telling you who are presidents or the wives of presidents. They didn't say to you, okay, all these employees, did any employees actually show up? Or maybe a musician that died there, or somebody else may have died in the White House. But they're not going to tell you that. Okay. All they're going to tell you is just about a president or or the wife of the president. That's it. Nothing more. Or unless something really bad happened there, say, for example, when Abraham Lincoln got shot in the head, okay, but he didn't get shot in the White House. He got shot at a hall or a theater where he was watching a play. And yet, why did his ghost go to the White House? His ghost didn't go into the theater. His ghost went into the White House. Figure, right? So it's not always, like I said before, it can be residual passing, but again, their spirit is longing to be where they loved, passionate loved their work so much, right? Lila in chat room says Obama's cook. Yeah. Now Obama's probably Obama probably his cook has seen a lot of ghosts, things that have moved, or anybody really. Again, folks, you got to talk about the employees. I mean, people are actually, some of the employees now are telling their stories. They haven't told anybody. And then if they did, I know they're supposed to be keeping a, what is it? They swear them in not to say anything what happens inside the White House. But there's a difference between a ghost in the White House, or they're afraid of ridicule from the public. So it's a choice they make. But most of the time, it's always many, many years later, once they're no longer with the White House or any other organization, and then before they're like most people do at their deathbed, they were the ones who say, "Well, I saw this person, that person, this person," but before they want to confess, they want to tell you something before it's forgotten, which is fine, which is great, and at least you write that down. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But anyways. Like I said before, folks, it's important that we talk about this. And so tonight's going to be a very special night, the first hour here. And we're going to be talking about, like I said before, the White House presidents. We're celebrating February 19th today, even though today is not the 19th, it's past that. But we want to see if we can talk to presidents that are passed away or even their wives. You never know, right? Now, I'm not going to be looking for John F. Kennedy. Everybody's been looking for John F. Kennedy. Oh, is John F. Kennedy come to the box? There's too many of those. I know he's a hero of the United States, but why not talk to others before him, right? That we may not. Now, apparently someone said they did make contact with George Washington and his voice came through. Someone said that they actually, but yet when they went to listen to the recording, it wasn't there. So, again, we're going to keep on working on it, right? So let's see here. Diane in the chat room says hello and angels are life. Hey, Derek and Bill from Nikki in Seattle.
Okay, Nikki. Good to hear from you, Nikki.
So Nikki would know everything to do with the president. So tonight, again, it's a very special night. We're going to be talking to I guess we would say, remember there was a band called the Dead Presidents.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking to dead presidents, but you know what? People in spirit don't like being called dead. We're supposed to be the walking dead, and they are the living. So we're going to be talking to those that crossed over. How's that sound?
Okay.
Okay. So let's get started.
Well,
and what do you want to do from there?
I brought a new radio course, and I just wanted to test it out tonight, and I want to get some of the feedback from the listeners out there.
Okay.
So we're going to turn it on. Hello. How are you? How many active spirits around here right now? 10. Okay, that's good to know. Do you have a message for myself or Derek? You have a message for us? Could I get a name, please? How are you? Could I get a name, please? What else would you like to tell us? What else would you like to tell us? Something of importance? Where are you right now? Are you here? Are you watching us? Are you observing us right now on the radio show? You need help. Go to the white light there.
Somebody just kept on saying help.
Yeah, I hear that too. So. Okay, thank you for communicating. Okay. Now we'll switch back over to the Coolest 89, what we use for the show.
First of all,
she's laughing. First of all, she's laughing.
I heard you say that.
How are you?
Did you hear that?
Sound like someone farted. Oh, Brian, yeah.
He replicated it.
Well, this box here has a lot more personality, that's for sure, and responses are good, so that's why I use this one most of the time.
Used up.
Used up. So tonight, folks, I need your help. Can you guys help us find the those who are actually that were presidents in the past? Can you guys actually ask them to come forward? We like to communicate with some of the presidents that passed away. Are there any presidents who would like to come forward and speak to us? Any chance that we can make contact with Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln, can you name yourself that you're here?
Is there any U.S. presidents who have passed away that want to talk to us?
Presidents.
Yeah. Okay. I hear a lot of laughing. Do you wish to speak to us? Which president there who's passed on would like to speak to us?
Can you guys bring forth Abraham Lincoln? Abraham Lincoln, please. Abraham Lincoln, if you are there, sir, can you actually share something that you can for the public?
We're still listening.
Someone named me.
Who there would like to speak to us that was a former president who's passed on? How about you, President Truman? Are you there, President Truman? You have a message for us?
Yes.
What would that be?
Insurance.
Insurance. Hmm.
Surface.
How about you, President Roosevelt?
That's different.
Yeah. You have a message for us there, President Roosevelt. You have something you'd like to tell us?
His voice changed very quickly when he said Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Neighborhood.
Hmm.
Kittens and
Who else would like to talk to us that was a president at one time in the United States in the White House?
me.
He said me.
Yeah.
Who's me?
And we'll be
I heard him say me.
Where are you? Are you here right now?
you know.
Pick it up. Shrek. Any chance we can actually talk to maybe George Washington? President George Washington.
World of disorder is take.
Is that possible that all the presidents have already been reincarnated back, that their energy is not really coming forward? I know there's a lot of spirits in this house right now that are here, folks. And I need you guys to help me. This is Derrick. Okay. I've been working with you guys for many, many years. Those who actually know who I am. And I would love to see if we have a president of Ford. Ford. There's a president of Ford, isn't there? Okay, so he said Ford. President Ford. Is President Ford there? So he actually named himself. We're Canadian. We don't know much about presidents. We have an excuse.
I'm going to try for somebody in the White House who used to be there. President Nixon. Would you like to talk to us?
Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon. Are you there, sir?
You have a message for us.
Which means just I
He's got a distinctive voice.
don't. Yeah. Ready? And
Richard Nixon, President. Can you tell us about what really happened with the Watergate situation that caused you to leave office in Washington?
Whoa.
Can you tell us? We really would like to know. What happened during Watergate in Washington?
Stories. Escape.
Yeah. That's to touch a nerve. Did you order people to go into the Democratic building and break in to get any documents?
Complete bullshit, he said.
I'll just say, but
I heard this. Complete bullshit.
Yeah. What is your thoughts on the Vietnam War at that time? Richard Nixon, what was your thoughts on the Vietnam War?
Exit.
what it is?
Did you think that President Johnson left you a mess in the White House when you took over?
No.
No.
No. Okay, well, that's interesting.
No.
Okay, now I'm going to go to President Johnson. Do you have something to say about everything? What's your thoughts, President Johnson, on the Warrant Commission?
Bush.
Can you tell us?
He says Bush did it. The Warrant Commission. So he said Bush did it. We already knew who the Bush is.
Yeah.
Senior.
Was it orchestrated as a whitewash? The Warrant Commission? President?
To have explained to
You'll have to explain it to him.
an album. No.
Well, they just dumped on Bush Senior. According to the Warrant Commission, that Bush Senior did it.
Okay, I'm going to take a little break.
Yeah. So basically, when Bill was talking about the Warrant Commission, we already know about that. Somebody yelled in there, Bush Senior did it, or Bush did it. So basically, he's saying that he was the one that caused all this. Interesting. He's being called out on it. You mentioned about Johnson. If there's anything that was going down, they said no, direct no from what Johnson's supposed to have done, or thought they did wrong. Then they talk about Nixon even earlier, him and about the Watergate, and was Nixon involved with? Was he really the bad guy? And we heard real loud, complete bullshit. So that's the word. So that tells you that there are people inside that were corrupt enough to try and harm presidents. And possibly Nixon was doing too good of a job. So, whatever he was doing, whatever he's involved in, but certain things happened and I think they wanted Nixon out of the way. This is my thinking. This is why they say complete bullshit. We'll see. Like I said, I'm a Canadian guy, so whatever you guys know about this, they're telling you from the other side.
Yeah, I would urge any of the audience listeners from USA, from the United States, if, of course, you know your history more than what we know in the American history. So, yeah, put in the text your thoughts on that.
Love to hear from you guys in the chat room. See, it says here, let's see, President Kennedy talked to his son a number of years ago. He left me with the impression that his dad wants nothing to do with coming forward. Attitude of his, he's done his time. Who is the thief and the person doing suffrage? I heard that. Oh, interesting. I like that one.
Okay.
Someone gave you the raspberries. Ha ha ha. And Angel also said maybe Roosevelt. She also said heard the name Benjamin as in Franklin. Yeah. Angels said surface as in surface to air. Jacobs, WA check. Let's see. Who's the perfect counsel? Who's David? Press Reagan. President Reagan could have sworn I heard his voice. You have Ford and Reagan there. Derrick, Reagan is there. I keep hearing him. Yeah. Okay. Like there's some really interesting people that are, that are trying to come through. And yet one thing to let you guys know, we're always looking for we're always looking for a direct conversation, just like we're saying right now. Now, some actually ghost boxes are having regular conversations. Some actually are complete full sentence, but these are different boxes that people use. If you actually go on YouTube and you can have a look yourself, you'll see, but everybody who makes their boxes are all different, all made differently. Depends how people use them, whatever type of equipment they put inside of it to make the contact, and how connected with spirit they are with them. That's what they do. But what they try to do here, as of tonight, there is really not. Like I was online on YouTube or any other social networks, and there's nobody really. Everybody's talking to John F. Kennedy. But no one's ever gone any further with Lincoln or Benjamin Franklin or George Washington. Nobody's making those contacts. They're just like they're showing no interest in them. So whether if they do, they're not trying hard enough, or they think it's because it's too long, too far back. Why should it be interesting? Well, guess what, folks? Here's what you may not know. All these presidents that you are watching or I've learned about in history, every one of them had a story to tell. Every one of them had somehow what brought you forward to who you are today. They're all important, no matter if it's a president or a prime minister or dictator, whatever. They all have history, and they all have a story to tell. And in spirit, what we look for, what I seek, is their truth. Because see, in the spirit world, they're not supposed to lie. They have to tell the truth. And if they can't tell you the truth, they'll prevent you from knowing. They'll actually say, I can't tell you, or not because they are afraid to. Sometimes they want to keep the secret and it'll never get exposed or never get shared. or they feel that if they did tell the story, that it may harm others. So there's always what you call the catch-22, and that's a different one in itself. But give me a catch-22 where basically you want to hear, but you don't want to hear it. And if you want to know, is it going to harm others? No, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't. But what it also does too is expose the truth, because this is what we're seeking. We're seeking the truth, and there's, I mean, not every president. We want every president to be the good guy, but not every president was perfect. Everyone is entitled to make mistakes. Everyone's entitled to screw up once in a while. You're just being human, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, no matter what kind of job you got, whether anybody who's a leader of any organizations or corporations, whatever you name it, we all have a reason to be here, and we all have something to share with the public, and everybody wants to know what's going on. And this is what we're trying to do: is we want to share with you to celebrate President's Day, which was actually this past month of February the 17th or the 19th, and this is why I thought it'd be kind of cool. And this is not maybe not. I'm a Canadian. Why am I talking about it? Well, because what I had learned recently, and it made me feel very proud of us, very excited, and having to hear that sooner or later, when it does get released in public, that our countries have merged together as one country. I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm waiting for it to be announced. Like, I know it is, but it has to be announced first. We're already signed by President Trump, John Trump, but we have to get the confirmation to prove that, for the public to know, and it will get shared once the public is ready for this. So it's, like I said before, I find it important to know that we've got a lot of great cousins and relatives and people that are all over the country, that the borders eventually will all be open for everybody. Nothing will be closed. They'll be open for everybody to live here. And whether it's Canada, United States, or Mexico, or you name it, whatever countries we're connected to, whether it's New Zealand and Australia, these are the 5 countries that actually have merged into one. I'm looking forward to seeing that be announced, which it will. Just have to know when. But it's exciting for me. It's exciting for a lot of people, and then some people don't want to see it. So we shall see what happens. Angel says, I'm stunned that President Reagan is willing to talk. He was repeatedly talking. Yeah, he's trying to get through. There's a lot of people are trying to get through to talk. When you get about 5 or 6 people at the same time, like how many people tonight we had in that box?
Oh, quite a few.
Yeah. And sometimes they like to over talk over each other.
Yeah.
And because they want to say something. Well, our request this evening was to, at first, for the first hour, was to try and see if we can get some presidents to come through and speak. You did hear some of it that we did share with you, and somebody mentioned here, I can't remember which president was talking, or requested something about October, the month of October, and they said Autobots. Now, Autobots does not mean a TV show. Autobots can also mean something to do with computers, and that could be relating to whatever happened in the past. And I think that has something to do with, if I remember correctly, I think that's something to do with, they mentioned about surface and insurance. And I think I'll have to refer back to the show itself, folks. But I think it's something to do with President Ford. I think he was the one to mention the word October and Autobots. So again,
wasn't that a bill of some kind? Maybe?
I think it's a bill. Yeah, something to do with Autobots. The word Autobots was really prevalent. I mean, you think about this, folks. We never had Autobots, but why was it specific coming through this, for us to see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll have to admit, I really don't know too much about Autobots.
No, myself. I mean, there's the cartoons called Autobots, but there's something before that was called Autobots too.
Yeah.
So it could be automatic bots. We do have that type of thing on computers now, but they may have had that before that. So we'll see what happens. right? I never did ask about Herbert Hoover, but again, it's a cross-dresser for president.
Well, he was never a president, so
No.
no, he was basically a senior bureaucrat.
Well, they called him president. He was a
Yeah.
president.
Well, he probably behind the scenes did a lot of influence to the.
Oh
White
yeah.
House,
Well, he was. Everybody that I've talked to
Yeah.
did not like him too much, even though he was the head of the FBI at first.
Yeah.
But we all know that.
Yeah.
But there's some really nasty
Well,
stuff
it was
that he
basically
knew.
Nixon that got him out of his job.
Yep.
Retired him basically.
Very quickly, because if it wasn't for Nixon, you would have had a very, very even deeper corrupt. I mean, I know, mind you, he was part of the head of the FBI, but I'm not sure that we want to.
Mm-hmm.
You want to label someone, but you don't know them,
Yeah.
so you're only taking for granted the history.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Angel said she heard Autobahn or Autobahn. Okay. If any of you guys out there know what that means, the meaning of it, I won't have a chance to have a look at it. If you guys can come up with that and see if you can share that in your chat rooms, let us know the word Autobot or Autobahn. Yeah. See what the meaning is, and that's relating to that time past.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting that feeling that it was some kind of bill or something.
Yeah.
In the House
Yeah.
in Washington.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something that he was pushing himself. I don't know.
Yeah. But that one, that was like we mentioned,
Yeah.
when they complete bullshit, that was like, whoa. That was 2 words, folks.
It was a direct.
You had to know.
Very direct answer.
Yeah. You're supposed to know.
Yeah.
They also said, and they mentioned Bush did it, and they said senior, the Warrant Commission.
Yeah.
When they mentioned about the Warrant Commission, and then he said, yeah, George Bush Senior did it. So what does that tell you? And again, some
He always officially said he was never in Dallas at the time, but they actually had some pictures of him
being there.
So.
Plus, also he was once the head of the CIA.
Yeah, exactly.
So, would you trust the CIA?
No.
No. So, okay, let's see what we can do here. What we got here? We're going to try one more time, folks. What we're going to do is see if we can make contact with, let's see here.
Well, they're saying Ronald Reagan, so that might be a...
Yeah, but I know he's still here.
Yeah.
The real one.
Okay.
So
that would be a double, as you would...
Yeah, he's a body double. The body double could have been the one that died.
Yeah.
But the real one, I know he's still
he'd be
here.
Pretty old by now.
He's 100.
Yeah,
90s, 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the med beds are keeping him alive. Because I've got the list here. Unless he recently passed and we don't know about it, but I know a couple of years ago they said he was still with us. He was supposed to have passed away for his protection, but for some reason I got told that he was still with us, so we'll see. I mean, it's confusing because some people say, well, I want to make contact with so and so supposed to be passed away, and they go like, yeah, but what if he's not? You know what I mean? What if he's not? And you go, okay, well then how come their voice came through the box? Well, because it's called consciousness, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. You can actually talk to, and we actually did a test on that. Remember?
Well, actually, I explained that I had that happen myself with one of the older Ghost Box pioneers. He contacted me and said my voice came through, and the time difference. He was this was probably in 3 hours difference because he was in. Oh, I believe he was from just outside of New York, New Jersey.
Yeah,
and my voice came through, and this was probably his time around 6:30 in the morning. Of course, 3 hours different. I was still in bed sleeping. I had no awareness that my voice
folks,
was coming.
You could be asleep, and your consciousness can travel to the voice, to this box.
Yeah,
and you can have a conversation
too.
Yes.
Similar situations, family come through.
Yeah, so it's not always. I mean, anybody who wants to make contact with someone is supposed you think they're passed away, or you want to see what to do the experiment. we can't really prove it. Again, I mean, it's hard to explain, but see, I was given confirmation of who's still with us, the 900 protected. And there's a lot of people in there that I know. And even though people say it's supposed to be gone, I'm going like, oh, you guys, you got these boxes out and you're supposed to be talking to them. And how come I know they're still around? How come I've seen their videos that they're still alive? And yet they're going like, well, they're supposed to be done. Well, their consciousness travels and they're probably still giving you the message no matter what, because you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Your mind is elsewhere. You're just astral traveling.
Yeah, that's what I considered. It's instead of me going out of my body, well, I was in a sense, but it was my voice coming through his ghost box at his end in New Jersey with a 3-hour difference, because he liked to do early morning ghost box sessions. Yeah, he found that really worked well for him, and all of a sudden my voice came through. It kind of startled him, I think. I've been told there's a few others that my voice came through, but they've never come forth. But the story is I've told other people. So so we can always experiment on something. I've had people say to me, truthfully said to me, that I come to them in their dream and talk to them and told them, gave them wisdom, and yet I've never met them in person. Yeah. And sometimes some of them I have, but again, the only time I'm able to give them something, maybe a message in person, is or in that person, but in spirit, because I could be asleep and I'm giving them the message when they're asleep. So that's how it works sometimes. Okay, let's start. So let's do something new now. I think what we're going to do, we'll take calls now. Okay. And our people are asking questions in the chat room now. Let's see here. Now, I know Coraline, you're in the hospital, my dear. I know you're in the hospital. I know very well you can't call in the same room. Okay, she's telling her story. I'm in the hospital in the same room. My sister died a few months ago. Does she have a message for me? I feel her near. Now, Coraline's sister's name is Barbara. So let's do Coraline Williams, and let's see if her sister Barbara can come through and see if she will for her. We have Coraline listening in. She wants to get a hold of her sister, Barbara. There's Barbara there. Barbara, do you have a message for your sister?
Coraline?
You have a message for Coraline, your sister?
There's a lot of the hold it all day.
Barbara, what would you like to tell your sister Coraline? She can hear her.
She says, what about me? Yeah, what about me? Barbara, hi, I'm Derrick. I'm friends with Coraline. She wants to know how you're doing since you passed away in the hospital. Somebody speaking French. Yeah. Barbara, this is Derrick. Coraline Williams, that's your sister. She wants to make contact with you. Can you contact your sister while she's in the hospital? Can you come see her? Yeah.
You can just get to
You have a message for your sister, Barbara.
Getting more people speaking French now.
They spoke French.
Très bien. See? Très bien. You guys are funny. You guys are absolutely funny.
Yeah, like I say, this box definitely has personality.
Yeah. You know what you said? This box has personality, and that person said personality at the same time.
Yeah, it's almost like they mimicked my voice.
Yeah.
Or agreeing. One of the two.
Enchanté. Thank you.
Okay, I guess we'll end that.
Okay, this is crazy. I know there's somebody's asking or wanting to make contact with someone who's actually speaking French too, because this person is insistent wanting to speak. We were able to try as much as we can for you, Corlin, to see if you can make contact with your sister Barbara. Barbara did say, and I heard her say, she's going to come and see you and visit you in Dreamtime. But she says, the funny thing is, we were asking for her, and she says, "What about me? What about me? Why is she? Or we're asking about her." So she doesn't know about this, how to understand it. So we were trying our darndest to help you, okay, or for your sister. So yeah, Barbara actually was there, and I said, "Is this Barbara?" And I got yes, yeah. She says, and then that's fine. Then went to a deeper voice, and then him and I were discussing the word French, and all of a sudden, boom! Now, whoever this person is, whoever is requesting to speak to someone, it's a male figure, and he was speaking French. Number one, he says "très bien," and then also, then a couple of minutes later, he went "enchanté." Now, you guys know your French. Anybody knows their French, you'll know. So enchanté means I understand members. Welcome, come on in. Très bien, I think it's an agree. I agree. Think of that word. It means I agree. Très bien. Watch me screw this up. Did I not turn?
Well, again, we've had many other foreign languages come on from shows before.
Oh,
Japanese,
you've had every
German
language,
Cree, Ojibwe, you name it. So
spoken different languages. Yeah. I'm gonna let that start first. I always have extra phones.
There you
go. That's cool. 3D. Anyways, okay. Okay. Joanne says, she says, "I think I heard 'I love you.'" Really? Good.
Okay.
And you did.
Well, that's good.
Thank you so much. Whether you think you did or not, the fact is that we appreciate your support, folks. You guys are hearing some things that we don't hear. Okay.
Yeah, that's something I need to talk about. Sometimes we don't always hear it at this time because of the speaker is loud.
Yeah.
But we have it turned up so everybody can hear it. But yeah, sometimes we don't hear it at that time. But recording your Ghost Box session is very important, because then you can go back after and listen. And chances are you're going to get those answers you didn't hear at the time. So it's very important.
The crazy part of it too is I was going to say 2 on that one. Blank. Refer back. Also, we have a tendency of speaking over them as they're about to talk. So it's always good, because other people who are listening could probably hear that person's voice come through while I'm asking a question. And even though they could be already answering before you even ask a question. So sometimes we end up talking over them.
Plus, there's a little delay on the internet, and by the time they hear it and so on. So,
it happens
about
too.
3-4 second delay sometimes, or shorter.
Let's see here. Angel says, "I higher consciousness can do extended things. It's amazing." She says, "I've personally met many people while in higher consciousness, and also early in the first section regarding presidents, I heard Portuguese and German languages." Yes, like I said before, when I said you make contact with presidents all over the world, whether it's locally or internationally, or even like prime ministers or even dictators, they're at times, those who are gone, they're going to try and come through the box. Like I had no intention of asking to talk to Castro.
No.
He's not a nice fellow.
Justin's dad.
Justin's dad. Yeah, Justin's dad. Just in case.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, welcome into the chat rooms, folks. Those are actually in the YouTube chat room and also in the Facebook chat room. Thank you guys for joining both of us this evening.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, that we're in the chat room here. To let you guys know, those are actually just coming in. We actually were doing the presidents, making contact with the presidents that are passed away, see if they want to come through and give us a message, different varieties of presidents. Also, we've had a few that did give some messages as well. You know what? There's an idea. There's a big idea. That's a great idea.
What's up?
I wonder if I got rid of it. I hope I didn't. No, I didn't. There's one. How about if we see if we can try and make contact with Mary Todd Lincoln, because she was the one that did the very first seances in the White House to try and see if she can make contact with the late Andrew Jackson's ghost. And let's see if Mary Todd Lincoln would like to come through, because she was very big on seances.
And she was.
This is Abraham Lincoln's wife.
Yeah, big spiritualist.
Yeah. Let's give it a shot and see if Mary Todd would want to do. The First Lady, Mary Todd Lincoln, if you're there, thank you for being here with us. We know that you were so big into doing seances back then. You wanted to make contact with Andrew Jackson. We would love to hear from you.
Mrs. Lincoln, tell us about your seances in the White House. We'd like to know about them.
Telephone.
Were you successful in your seances? Get a hold of President Jackson, who passed away, of course.
Reach your entire.
Did you conduct your seances in the Lincoln Room, as they call it today?
The Red Room.
Is that what they call it? Red Room? Yep. The Red Room.
So we were making contact with Mary Todd Lincoln. This is Abraham Lincoln's wife. She's always holds seances in the White House. She says we did.
Yeah, there you go.
There, she said that just now. We did. How were the contacts? Were you able to make contact with a lot of people that are passed away in the White House, Mary? Yes. Was there a medium that helped you to do the contact? Yes. Can you tell us who the medium was by name?
Jeff. What was your name?
Jeff.
Jeff. You know the last name?
Wow. Jeffrey.
What was Jeffrey's last name?
Did you say Jeffrey Cobb? Mary Lincoln, this medium, was it a guy by the name of Jeffrey Cobb? Yes. Wow.
That's interesting.
Jeffrey Cobb.
Yeah.
I'll look up, see if he is.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'll take a look.
Who else did you contact in your seances, Mrs. Lincoln, in the White House? The Red Room, perhaps? Can you tell us, please?
Holy.
Read it.
He's a medium.
Well, there you go. At that time
Jeffrey
period.
Cobb.
At that time period.
He's from West Virginia.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Wow.
That's amazing. Well, that's hitting it right on the spot. Okay, we're going to take a break there. Okay.
So,
That's pretty
this
cool.
is good.
Yeah, that is. Oops, sorry.
Mary Todd Lincoln said that her medium, that the medium she had was that made contact or even tried to make contact with her. She even named him Jeffrey Cobb. So I looked it up here and I typed in the word Jeffrey Cobb medium, and he's there. And he's from West Virginia.
Okay. And he was from that time period.
Time period, yeah.
Wow.
Now there's a lot of seniors and juniors too in this one.
Well, I imagine that name still carries on today with other people. But
I'll look this up more.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yes. Yep. Jeffrey Cobb, clairvoyant. So this, and it goes from there, and then now is a listing of all the readers.
Yeah.
Well, okay, in the USA, I'll tell you USA.
Okay.
Jeffrey Cobb. There's an advisor too. I have to figure this out. Jeff or Jeffrey Cobb?
Yeah.
C-O-B-B.
Well, that time period, spiritualism was really big, and so he would have been probably one at the top.
Yeah, they weren't called psychics back then. They were called mediums.
But yeah.
Or seers.
Seers. Yeah.
Gifted.
Yeah, he would have been probably at top list in that area.
Yeah. Wow, that was cool.
Wow.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And she was always pointing out, yes, she was very successful in doing seances. This is good. This is a good one, folks. This actually, those who just come in the chat room tonight, just now, we were making contact with Mary Todd Lincoln, which is Abraham Lincoln's wife. And she used to hold seances in the White House. So that I would say that's kind of cool. And then when we did make contact with her, and then we asked her, "Did you hold seances in the White House?" "Yes, we did," she says. And every question we're asking was yes, yes, yes. So then we were asking her, who was the medium, who was actually helping them to do the mediumship, and she said Jeffrey. And then I heard Cobb, and I said, "Is this Jeffrey Cobb? Is this the one that helped you?" "Yes." So we got a Jeff Cobb or Jeffrey Cobb. And
well, back in those days, Jeffrey would have probably been the first name you went by.
Yeah. So if we did Jeff Cobb, let's try Abraham Lincoln and see what happens. Seances. Oops. Stupid spell check. It keeps on telling me it's not correct. They don't like it. Yeah, it's a social and cultural construction of Abraham Lincoln, U.S.
He was probably their personal medium.
Yeah.
As you say, seer. That was an old English term, seer.
Seer.
Yeah, seer.
Yeah, or medium. They weren't called clairvoyants back then. They were not called psychics. That word that never came into. The name never came about until the 1970s. It was before that, or maybe 1960s. That was the word psychic did. I mean, let's see. I would say around 1960s because Kenny Kingston was a psychic to the stars. He comes psychic to the stars. He read for Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, or he read for all the famous people, from John Wayne to you name it, all the actors, even presidents. He read for, and who I knew Kenny.
Well, you interviewed him too.
I had him on my show.
Yeah, I remember that. I heard that interview.
Yeah.
He was an amazing man.
Yeah.
I mean, I could still remember him on the info commercials too. That he would come
guess what? Here, this is kind of funny, folks. I did not know what Abraham Lincoln was. I got a funny feeling that Jeffrey actually was not the last name Cobb, but he was a cobbler. Guess what? Abraham Lincoln was a cobbler. So they were friends. Jeffrey knew Abraham Lincoln. It says here Abraham Lincoln was a cobbler.
So friend of the family.
Friend of the families.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Kind of open up a whole interesting story.
Yeah. So his last name was, well, not Cobb. He was Jeffrey, and he was a cobbler. So, or Jeffrey. And so that makes more sense.
Maybe they just referred to him as Jeffrey Cobbler.
Yeah.
Back then, that's what I'm kind of guessing. But
okay, Abraham Lincoln's his wife. So that's the original photograph of her, and there's Lincoln right behind her, and the ghostly figure.
Yeah,
and that's photographed by the guy who had that big, huge wooden box photograph thing.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure you guys will be able to see that, but that's what it looks like. And sort of you can see, there it is right there. Now, some people are going to say, "Oh, it's clipboard. Anybody can do this." Yeah, anybody can now. But back then, those years, they could not. And how is it he was able to do it? That's exactly, this is a true photograph back then.
Yeah, that was the early days of spiritual photography. It
was big time.
Yep.
They were able to do that because the materials they had back then, folks, are not the same kind of materials they have today. I myself, when I was in school back in the 70s, I had a photography class or photography school, like a class, and I learned photography, how to develop film and that sort of thing. And so I was taking pictures, and I got to do I learned a lot about photography.
Oh yeah, in the dark room.
I was in the dark room half the bloody time, you know, and so I learned how to do all that and learn about exposures and what you can or cannot do. And one thing I learned about this, you cannot fool the camera to make them look like ghosts. Back in the 70s, we were trying to do the same thing. And the only way you're going to find out is we had to really, literally, we tried taking pictures in the dark to see if a ghost would show up. And you would have to, all you can really do is take a flashlight, put it into your face, and then take a photograph. But if anything really did try to show up in the old photos or in our rigors, for example, in a negative, it's there. Right? It's in the negative, folks. I mean, the photograph of the ghost will be in the negative too. Okay. So you're not just you're not just using just your cell phone and take a picture and think, okay, here you go. That's it. And then someone's going to say, oh, anybody can do that. No, do it with a negative. Okay. Oh, we're going to scratch it. Right. Yeah. Good luck. They were trying so darn. I mean, if you look at some of these older photographs of ghostly pictures, you could not develop them that way. And people may not realize photography the real true photography started back in the 1750s, not 1800s, 1750s. And then it got taken away and erased, as in you weren't supposed to talk, because they believed that was stealing someone's soul. It had nothing to do with the Indians at the time. It was actually the kings, the people that are rich, the priests, the priests believe that you're stealing someone's soul into a photograph, or they call photo something or other. Yeah. And you're stealing their picture, their soul. So they believed it. Yeah. Okay. So that's how things changed. And so they, from 1720, 1740, and then from there on, it was quiet until the, I would say early mid 1800s. Then they start go back into photography again, almost 75, 80 years. Then it restarted again. Yeah. You know, like, okay, we're doing photography. It's something brand new. No, it's not. It's been there for a long, long time. But because there are people who've got these large, huge wooden boxes that they've been doing photography for years. Yeah. And people don't realize that. How are these guys able to walk all across the country in the old West, carrying that big, huge box in the stand? Yeah. And they're photographing things, and they're traveling a huge amount of equipment on a horse or a mule or whatever, a wagon. These are photographers, been around for a long, long time. And these guys are walking through wild country. Oh, yeah. I remember I was reading a book on the Overlanders, which is actually, there was a gold rush that started here in Barkerville back in the 1850s. And there was actually someone that came out from the East Coast with their camera, 1850s, and they're taking pictures of the journey. Took 3.5 months to get to Barkerville. So did he make it? I don't know. But all I know is that the guy had a lot of his stuff that he did photograph, and then some of it he lost it down the river, and he developed it already. You know, he lost on the river, like he was like horrible. Now, you don't just get a little reel and negative and get it developed in a lab. He had to find a way to work in the dark to develop it in his tent, and it had to be at nighttime. So it's crazy. Tricky. Oh yeah, big time. There's no red light district either. See, we turn on a red light. Yeah. Okay, so Nancy, even tin type glass negatives. Yes. Angel's saying, and Diane Brighton says, I've always thought that they hate having pictures taken. Yes. 4x5 format cameras, 8x10 format. Yes. Pack mules. You're correct. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They were hauling pack mules with their own camera on it, and that's all these guys ever did. And some of these photographers lost their lives on account of it. Or they would tell, you know, if they're even if a group of Indians, they had to prove to the Indians that it's not a bad thing. You weren't stealing their soul, but they were also deathly afraid of the photographer, because they thought the photographer was powerful, like a medicine keeper. Yeah. So and it's not just the Indians. even the priests were worse than they were. Oh my God, the priests were crazy. They used to burn some of these guys alive. Like they would literally tie them up and have them hung because they thought they're stealing their souls. Nuts. Anyways. Okay, so let's see here. You're most welcome, Corlin. She got through.
Okay, super.
For her.
Okay.
In the chat room. So thank you guys. We're both in the Facebook chat room as well as the YouTube chat room.
Yeah.
If anybody would like to get a reading from the other side in the spirit world from this box, you're more welcome to call in.
Oh yeah.
And the 360-566-2875. I'll give you guys the number here just to make sure you did. Let's see here. If you don't remember, you're more welcome to call in. I like to get some new callers. Call in and see if they want to find out. See if they may contact someone they want to know, find out, or give them the message from the other side in the box. Love to hear from you guys. Like Angel, Diane, or anyone else. Shigisha. All those guys. Anybody else there? John, thank you. Welcome and thank you for joining the chat room. Joanne, Lisa.
Looks like quite a lot of people in the chat rooms.
Yeah,
tonight.
they're all chatting back and forth.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, they did lose their lives or their equipment. Yeah, equipment could also be gigantic wooden tripods with giant VOCs cameras. There are also the bellows cameras. Yes, I mean, I've seen some of the old. There's a guy in the States who collected cameras, and actually, the wife knew a lot about it. And in fact, it was on the Antiques
Roadshow.
Antiques Roadshow. Not Antiques Roadshow. Sorry, not the Antiques Roadshow. The guys, the Pickers, American Pickers.
Yeah. Okay.
They recently went to this lady's house, and her husband passed away. He's a photographer, but she also knew a lot about photography. He collected cameras. My God, he had a warehouse full of cameras.
Amazing.
And she knows every details about certain kinds of cameras. She had the big boxes. I mean, the huge ones. I mean, swear to God, they're about 3 feet long and probably 2.5 feet square.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the bellows in the front, like opening it up and the stand. Even the stand itself is worth more than the camera. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But you don't find those anymore. How seldom do. And if you do, people can make them into props. But some of these actually said these cameras are still working. If they're still, workable. So, yeah. I'm going to ask some spirit people in the spirit world about what's going on here. Let's see. Hello, awesome job. I don't know if you guys caught it, but if you guys were doing the reading with the presidents earlier, it sounds like they said too happening being told. Yeah. Too happening being told. They're, oh, you know what? I'm going to throw something in there just for the heck of it. Let's see if Joe Biden, his voice wants to come through. Is Mr. Biden, he wants to talk to us through the box? Let's see what happens. Let's see if Joe Biden.
With that one.
Yeah. Mr. Biden, Joseph, are you there? Are you in there to give us a message? What happened to you?
The current American president, President Biden, you have a message.
Okay, let's say.
What do you want? What do you want?
I would like to talk to you.
Yeah. Brand new.
Did I eat some ice cream earlier today?
Agree on everything. Promise me. Yeah.
Promise. That sounded very much like him. His voice. Promise. Promise what?
I blew the center. Yeah. So, nice.
So old President Trump said that to you. He said that you're dead to him. So are you?
I'm just gonna. You're listening.
You're listening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Around the city. Find out if you. The shop. Super organic. 7 between. Julie. Anyways, it could. A sheep. Vancouver home.
Goober. I haven't heard that word in years. Goober.
Yeah.
Keep driving.
Participant.
To donate.
Okay, we're good. We're good. This is funny.
Yeah.
So, I just threw it in there just to see what happens. Like here's like I said before, I've talked earlier saying that those that are still living or consciousness can still travel, right? And even though President Trump will say, Joe, you're dead to me, and he says, as far as I'm concerned, as far as he's concerned, Joe Biden is dead to him, and we already know. But anyways, I wanted to say this. So we are asking, are you there? And we got an answer, very direct. And I heard his voice. I know his voice. He says, "What do you want?" What do you want?
And you think of the time difference, they're about midnight there. So
midnight there.
He might be sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, and they
basically assume that he's back in the White House right now.
Yeah, if he's in his white tent,
traveling overseas or anything, but that would even be more interesting to say the least.
Yeah, well, he's in his white tent, just pretending to be a little camper. He's always in the basement, this man. Anyways. Let's see. Hello, awesome job. I don't know. Okay, you got that. Yes, and your guys are having a great time with me. Yeah, I know. I'm having fun here. Okay, let's. I want to go into. Do you know I haven't had a chance to talk to? My cousin Donna Donna. She passed away. Let's see if I can bring her through. My cousin Donna. Hi guys, it's Derrick. I'm looking for my cousin Donna. Is she there? Can Donna come forward and talk?
With the prophet.
Derrick's cousin. You wish to talk to him?
Who?
Donna.
Talk to Donna.
Donna, you want to talk to your cousin? Derrick is here.
Did you want to talk to anybody in the family to get a message? Donna? Got it.
It's scheduled.
Let's see. First. I can hear her. I can hear her voice.
Yeah.
She's in the background. I can hear her. Yeah.
Think better than when you know.
Think better.
You can put a lot of voices through.
Dinner.
You guys should call in the gatekeeper.
That's her.
Gatekeeper, can you help us allow one voice to come through, especially Derrick's cousin, Donna?
Got my name.
They're laughing too.
Well, they heard my name. She even said my name.
I was engaged.
I was engaged. She said she was engaged.
Yeah.
Donna, you were married before. Did you divorce? She's giving me shit.
I love.
Do you want a message for Dee? For your sister Dee? Send Dee a message. Or your mom? Lost her. Lost her. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Lost her. Okay. I knew it was her.
Yeah. Well,
She,
you know her.
I can tell by her voice, but it also she was by herself. Like you can hear her in the background saying something, and she goes, "Oh," she said, "Oh, it's him."
Mm-hmm.
And then she was trying to say, and then she said, "You think you're better than us?" I know what she's talking about.
Okay.
And because myself being a medium,
Mm-hmm.
that used to piss off the family.
Oh, I see.
They didn't like me too much
No, I guess
because I was the black sheep of the families, of all my cousins. Am I taking requests? It's actually hard to hear, but I would love to hear from Mary Gail Silva of San Jose, California. I would also love to hear from my deceased sister, Catherine Elizabeth Webb. Well, why don't you call in, Kathy?
Yeah, we'll have
Right?
a better connection that way.
Here's what we'll do. That stupid damn thing says slow connection. This bull crap. Anytime I do a show like this, folks, it suddenly the Facebook says slow connection. So there we go. Call that number 360-566-2875 if you want to get the message from see who wants to come through. We're giving you an opportunity, folks, right? We've got a few more minutes. We've got maybe about 15, 20 minutes left. So you're more than welcome to call in. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. Yes. Clear my throat. Oh, before I forget. Now, what I would like to find out, who do you have that's taking care of the box?
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Area code 408.
Hi, Derrick. It's Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. So it didn't take long for her to call.
No, that's good. Hi, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got through. Thank you so much. I guess I didn't realize, I forgot that you were doing this today. So Thursday always rolls around and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm missing the show. So yeah, I was just curious. I haven't heard from people in a while and spiritually. And yes, I leave, I go into some other realm when I'm sleeping, some other dream state, or I'm, leave my body and then come back later.
Yeah.
But I am going through a lot of changes. I am working on my life. And yeah, I was just curious to hear from my deceased sister, Karen, or a longtime family mentor for me. Her name was Gail. Mary Gail Silva. So I was just curious if there's any communication from them.
Well,
for me.
Let's see. We can go for, we'll try and see if we can get a hold of your sister first and see what happens from there.
Great.
Right?
Okay. I'll turn it on.
Yeah. Hi, guys. We are looking for like Kathy Underwood here is actually asking to make contact for her sister, Karen. Karen, this is we're looking for Karen from by request of Kathy Underwood. Are you there? Did you want to give a message to your sister?
Karen, do you have a message for your sister? She can listen in to us right now. Do you have a message for her?
It's coming from Kathy Underwood. Yes.
What would you like to tell your sister, Karen?
Heaven. I'm in heaven.
Are you doing well now?
I heard her say it.
Howard.
Albert.
Oh.
How about Mary Gail Silva? Kathy Underwood's also requesting to see me contact with you. Are you there? Mary Gail Silva?
Very talkative. Very talkative.
There's lots of laughter.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that sounds more like a happy energy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, start it off. Got quite a bit there.
Did you, Kathy? Did you hear what they said?
Are you there? Can you hear me okay?
I
Yep.
can hear you well. Yeah. Did you hear what she said?
Okay. Gosh, it was just really hard to hear all of that. My brain is trying to focus on any words, but I couldn't make out anything from here.
Well, I asked if Karen, she's there, and the words were, she said sweet. And then we requested again. She says to me she says in there, she says, I'm in heaven.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
That's good.
And then she mentioned the name Albert.
Albert is the youngest brother from my dad.
Wow.
So the youngest uncle.
Okay. That was for you from her.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
How
Mhm.
If she's mentioning
that all went.
if she's mentioning Albert, that means that she's keeping an eye on him, or she's probably Albert's guardian.
Good, because he had some issues and it wasn't
Mhm.
good or healthy.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
With with your friend Mary Gail Silva, we had nothing but laughter. Like it was like she was just laughing and just like joking and having fun.
Yes, and she was like that, and I could hear her laugh as we speak. But as we're sitting there talking, I've asked about my family members before, and there is somebody that I've never, I don't know because they passed away many, many years ago, but I actually saw that person 2 times in a spiritual realm in my home, like at the ceiling level, like in a powwow with other angelic entities in a huge oval circling my living room. And this person was in the corner, but I could give the name and you can see if you hear anything from that person. That would be interesting because it just popped into my head right now.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do that? Or
oh, sorry, did I say it again on that one?
I can give you the name.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me spell it out for you. It's pronounced Mariwata. It sounds like marijuana, but it's with a T in there. And she is from Romania.
You realize if I ask someone to speak to them from Romania, the whole box is going to go Romanian.
Okay, whatever you can do. I don't know what that means. I don't understand, but
Hang on.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah. It's 1 second. Caller 416. Just 1 second. We're just finishing off this other one. Thank you. Just hang on tight. 416.
Okay.
Okay. So anyways, yeah, I would say if we go to Romania on that one, I think we'll hold back on that one because they'll probably start speaking Romanian. Then we're going to have a heck of a time go back to English again.
Yeah, a lot of foreign voices come through the box, through the ghost box.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, maybe
okay.
we'll get you to call in the next time we do the show and do that, and we can bring that in. You can bring that name up with your friend and see what happens from there.
Yeah, because I don't speak Romanian, and I did buy a Romanian dictionary and a Romanian book on how to learn the language, but it's beyond my comprehension. So
yeah.
That's
Okay. Well, anyways, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thank you for calling in.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for helping. All right.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yep.
Love you guys. All right. Bye.
Bye now.
Area code 416.
Hi, Derek. Hi, Bill. It's Diane.
Hi, how's it going?
Hello.
Pretty good, thanks. Hi, Bill.
Hi.
It came to me. I've got 27 people that have died. Since
Well,
2020.
it's easy
But
to
anyway,
it's easy
the
to
one I
talk to.
thought of-
Well, it's really easy to talk to 27 people in one box.
I know. So, the one so I decided. My cousin disappeared, and they never found his body. The government were watching him because he was flying a balloon,
Uh-huh.
from New York, and he disappeared over the Atlantic September 1970, and they've never found his body. So I just wondered if a medium, found him once on some radio.
Yeah.
But I wondered if he could come through, because a friend of mine who is like a witch said he was sitting next to me in France one night and came up with his name, and I was shocked. I forget about relatives sometimes.
Yeah.
I just wondered, because we've never found out, like what happened to him. Like he was a famous flyer guy. Is Malcolm Brighton. He had the dirigible balloon thing, and he went up in the air and with these two Americans, and they lost track of him 3 days. They say that he was possibly over Gander, Newfoundland, but nothing's ever found, not a trace. So
Okay.
just wondered if.
So you want to find Malcolm Braden, see where.
Brighton, Malcolm Brighton, yes.
Yeah, Malcolm Brighton. Okay.
My cousin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Brighton.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Malcolm Brighton. Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do. Now he actually was when he was on a hot air balloon. That's where they said they lost him since then. At the time.
Yeah, he was in charge of this program called Free Life. He was going to fly like around the world.
Yeah.
So they took off from the Hamptons, and they said they thought he was over Gander, Newfoundland, and they just lost. He just said going down. He called Mayday, and then they got lost connection. But like the Canadian and the American government said they were watching, but they never found anything, not even a raft. You know what I mean? I'm like,
well,
so
I can't guarantee you what. Yeah, I can't guarantee what we'll find in the through the box, but you might be able to. We'll try and see if we can do our darndest for you on this one.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I got a question for you, a real good one. This is going to be a tough one, I'm sure, but we're looking for Malcolm Brighton. He actually was in a hot air balloon, and supposedly he crashed. We wanted to find out where he went and where he landed, if possible. Is Malcolm Brighton around there? Can we have Malcolm Brighton to come forward, please? Yes.
Malcolm Brighton, you have a message for us?
Where have you landed? Do you know where you are?
Malcolm Brighton, did your hot air balloon crash out in the water near Newfoundland? Out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Says yes. Did you land in the water or on land? Cousin. Yeah, it's by request of your cousin.
Malcolm Brighton, would you have a message for your cousin?
What part of the world, the country, did you land when you crashed? There. That was a good one. Okay, dead air. Did you pass away before you landed? Did you pass away on the water or on the land? This is from Malcolm Brighton. Did you land or did you go into the water when you crashed? Did you land in Canada or the United States?
Malcolm Brighton, did you crash with your air balloon in Canadian waters or United States waters? Can you tell us?
Think about us.
Bard. That's twice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for communicating.
Okay, who is Bard?
Pardon?
Who is Bard? B-A-R-D.
Bard. Oh, gee. I'm not sure. There were two people on the plane with him. I can't remember. There was a woman and a man. The girl was actually KFC's granddaughter or something. You know, the Kentucky Fried Chicken. I can't remember the people's names now.
Okay.
Him that was mainly planned the expedition, as they called it.
Yeah, because the guy named himself twice. He said Bard, and then was time went by, then he said Bard again, B-A-R-D. So if they're saying Bard, this other Bard would be not Bard from a bar. Your first. It's got to be a first name or a location.
I think the woman's name may have been Barb. Like she was American. He was actually British, or sort of British and Canadian. But anyway, Bard, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but B-A-R-D, B-A-R-D, not a B like in Brenda.
Oh,
this
Bard,
is a B-R-D.
Bard. I'm not.
I'm also been told. I'm also been shown here. They actually use the age of 46 or the number 46.
He was 32, almost 33.
Okay, so was his body found?
Never.
Okay.
Or the other two bodies.
Okay. Now he did say, and I heard this. I don't know how many times, 3 or 4 times. It said Newfoundland.
Oh, okay.
I kept asking if they land on the water or on the land, and I kept on hearing Newfoundland. So they went towards Canada, towards the Canadian border.
Right.
Now my thinking, I'm seeing water. I saw the balloon coming down into water or close to the water, like the water's edge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now it's very possible if the balloon went down and if it landed on water, there's no way you're going to find the balloon.
Well, they never found the bodies, the balloon, or even the sandbags and nothing.
Yeah,
he disappeared without a trace.
Yeah, and that you should have been able to find them, but for some reason, I think they landed on the water. I think they went down in the water.
That's what I'm
Right.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense. I mean, to
And
disappear.
Newfoundland, the
Yeah,
water is
really.
very wavy and deep and windy. I mean, I know what Newfoundland's like. It can be very heavy breeze, and if you're in that water gust, you're in. You're down.
Big swells.
Oh,
out
the
there.
swells are
Yeah,
huge up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if there's a wind gusts.
Really?
Yeah.
That would make sense if they went right under.
And that's around New York. That's in the same. It's like around the same region as New York and those areas. So I would say,
Yeah, he left from the Hamptons. That's all I know is the Hamptons.
Yeah, well, that's because that's between east and west. You're heading towards. He was probably heading towards Newfoundland, and the wind gusts took him that direction.
Probably the jet stream took him that way.
Yeah,
because that's coming in.
Really?
That's my thinking, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, that's interesting.
Also,
anyway.
in the chat room, we've had Angel said heard Abbey Road, and she said Bard. Like I heard Bard. Thank you very much. Yeah, and also the word same as Derrick. Balloon is gone. Yeah. So I strongly feel people are agreeing.
Oh, Abbey Road makes sense. He was friends with John Lennon.
Abbey Road. Okay, friends John Lennon. Okay.
He did a film with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. The story of John and Yoko. It was him in the balloon.
Okay.
And then we reached his costumes in 68, 69. So
well, then that's they're trying to get that wording out or the connections to you, knowing that you would things you would recognize.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it did. Cool. The family member did come through, except like I said before, I think that there's no way you're gonna be able to trace to know where the balloon is whatsoever. So this is considered. Yeah. This will be considered as a cold case.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because I know it was the weirdest thing. I was at Fran's restaurant in Toronto years ago, and this woman came up to me and she said, "There's a guy sitting next to you. His name is Malcolm." I went, "There's nobody sitting next to you." Yeah. Like 2 a.m. in France. And then she said, all he said to me was, "I'm closer than," like she said, "I'm closer to you than you will ever realize."
Yeah.
And that was his message, like from the dead. And I was like shocked. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the only thing I've ever heard. There was one time on the radio, actually, they said to call into some radio, and the woman was gone. She said she had a guy who had disappeared and looking for her, and he gave my name. But when I phoned in, they said, "Oh, this person left there. They were wanting to talk to you, but because he'd come through them."
Yeah.
But yeah. But it's good to know anyway that
Okay. Well, we thank you for calling in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you too.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I hope we've been able to help other people out. And I want to thank everybody for supporting this program. We're doing we're celebrating the President's Day for the Americans. We're just Canadians, us too, but we just thought kind of cool to do something different and see what results we can get it from this. I think we've got some great results. Thank everybody for being in the chat rooms. Those who are on the Facebook as well as YouTube. We'll be taking this recording and transferring over to Rumble as well, so it'll be shared amongst everyone on the Rumble page. I've also placed it be going on to Telegram. If you can please like and share us, let us know what you think of the program, and please share with everybody else. Love to hear from you guys. Just put the big thumbs up and click, and thank you very much for all of the program we do. We don't try to raise no money for any programming because I love doing this no matter what. I make my money my way. I don't have to ask for any money for support. All we look for support to see you guys, appreciate you enjoying the program and the things we try to do to help you dealing with the unknown, whether it's paranormal or extraterrestrial, that sort of thing. It's great to help everybody in all different kinds of programs. Anything you'd like to share with our listeners before we close?
Well, I would like to recommend, if you want to listen to the program, to please do so after. And if you had called in or had a message of loved ones, please listen to the show in archives. And sometimes you may not have heard it at the time, but again, if you listen in after in the archive shows, you'll probably hear those voices that you would recognize of your loved ones.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, guys, if you're wanting to get a hold of Bill and have a private session with him, you're more welcome to call him. He actually is on Facebook, Bill Hauser, Hauscer. You'll find him on my page. You can just go right directly to his page and say, I want to be a friend of yours, and then make a have a private session and see what happens. Sometimes if you have a one-on-one instead of doing radio, you may have a better connection. Sometimes it happens. But you'll always, I know we're all I think we had a fantastic, great night because there's lots of paper here that I've been filling messages for people. And I'm sure we were able to come through for great reasons and helps give people hope and faith, knowing that we, sure we have lost our loved ones, but knowing that they're still at peace and not being at turmoil or, say, oh, you lost me, I'm in trouble. Send me money on the spirit side. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for being on the program, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Be good to each other, and may God be with you all. Take care, guys.
Good night.
Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is the war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace all around. Isn't it time? Wanna stop time? Isn't it time? Mother, stop crying. Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live.
That's for next month.
Together. Peace, in peace, in peace. All right. Peace, together.